America House. I am very glad that you came so many. Today we have a live jazz evening. It's all about their free group ensemble who delighted us with their presence. We cannot wait to get entertained and inspired by them. Free Group is the United States Army's premier jazz ensemble in Europe and Africa. And today we will get to know them better, to find who they are, how they founded their band. So let's give a round of applause to them. So today we have a blended session. What does it mean? It means that we have the cameras here and we are streamed live. And if you are watching live and you want to ask your questions, feel free to leave your comments in the comment section below. And let's start by finding out who are our musicians who joined us today. Could you present yourself?
Yes, hi, I'm Sergeant Roberts. I'm a trumpet player with the Free Group band.
Hi, I'm Sergeant Reed. I am the vocalist of the Free Group band.
I'm Sergeant Andrew Yost, and I'm a drummer with the Free Group ensemble.
My name is Master Sergeant Leon Butler. I am a bassist with the group.
My name is Sergeant First Class Nikki Romanoff, and I play saxophone.
I'm Sergeant First Class Michael Blue, and I play trombone, and I also work with the Free Group.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And who'd like to start by telling us your history? How did it all begin? When was the Free Group Jazz Band created?
Oh, well, I guess I'll answer that question. So Free Groove began in early 2021. The group was a mixture of a rock band as well as a traditional jazz ensemble. And somewhere along the line, both of those kind of collided. And we've been together ever since. Some of the members have changed, but the goal has been the same, and that's just to continue to create positive vibes, to tell the Army story through music, and to meet different cultures throughout Europe and Africa.
So you are the band who's performing in Europe and Africa. Is there other bands performing in Asia or Australia? Is there such a free group band or not yet?
There's no free groove in Australia, but there should be. There should be one in Australia. There are Army bands as well as military bands all around the world, all the way from Japan to America to Hawaii. They're all over.
So you said you are 11 members in total. How difficult and how challenging is it to maintain this group spirit and to maintain the harmony in the group? Who'd like to take this question?
I'll take this one. We're very fortunate across 11 different members to basically all of us bring those good vibes that Sergeant Blue mentioned to our rehearsals. Even on the hardest days, coming into Free Groove rehearsal and coming together makes it a much better day whenever we get to make music with one another. So across 11 different members, we all have our own challenges. We're all soldiers at the same time, and so we have different challenges that we face each day. But when we get into the room, when we get to make music with one another, it kind of smooths everything out and makes it all good.
That's great. And speaking of adventures, who'd like to maybe tell us an adventure or like an interesting situation that happened to you during your tours or something that happened in your team? And you are,
I think that's not Leon, but it's not a question. Probably better than anybody.
I think it's we get a great opportunity to travel across Europe and Africa. So there's always various situations we're in, different venues, different. Obviously, the power is different. So there's a lot of challenges, especially when you have 11 people traveling with musical instruments on a plane or needing to go on a bus, and sometimes luggage gets lost. That's definitely happened before. There was a great time was we were traveling back from Morocco, and we were going back to Germany to play two performances the next day. And we got rerouted, and we had no luggage for 4 days, and we were stuck in Portugal. So we made the best of it, and that was just it.
so did you manage to go to this concert or
No.
was canceled?
So we actually had to call back another group from the group that we have in Germany, and they sent 2 other performing groups to go play those concerts.
Well, thanks God you managed to solve the situation. But other the adventures that you can tell us, other interesting ones.
I have a training story. So I had the opportunity to go to the Army Air Assault School. This is where you learn to rappel out of helicopters. And so it was it's very windy in the helicopter, so I'm the last one to go out. My goggles are flying off, so I have to cinch them tighter, and I'm holding on, but my hands are sweaty, and so they start slipping on the rope, and I go underneath the helicopter, and I'm holding on, and so eventually the trainer lets me go down the rope, but until he says I'm allowed to go, I have to stay there and hold on. So that was an interesting adventure.
And you are definitely traveling a lot. So this summer you had a tour in Africa. It was the African Lion Tour. And now you're here in Moldova. So how was the transition from African climate to Moldova one?
It was definitely interesting. Being in Morocco, sometimes it was colder in the evenings. As the sun goes down, it was cold. We weren't necessarily anticipating that, but then some days it just got really, really hot. And it was, when we're sound checking, you kind of have to take a little break here and there to go find some shade and take a moment. It was a bit overwhelming for what we were used to in Germany. Germany gets a little dreary sometimes. I think it gets really cloudy for a while. We went straight to Morocco, and it was sunny all the time. So we were, get your sunscreen out, and then coming here, the weather has been a little up and down too. I mean, we did a special last night. We weren't anticipating it getting that cold.
When did you arrive in Moldova? When did you arrive?
Friday afternoon, last Friday.
Last Friday, so it's been a week.
Yeah.
And what are your impressions about Moldova and Moldovans?
It's been very welcoming. It has been absolutely amazing to see the culture, to travel, to learn so much. Everyone has been welcoming and giving us suggestions. So we've been trying to eat all the food suggestions that we get.
Okay, what was the best suggestions that you enjoyed?
Well, so we got one today. Divos.
Yeah,
Divos, yeah.
Okay,
I think-
just nearby.
Yeah, we're gonna try something. So we appreciate it as much as we can possibly.
Have you tried some specialties, some Moldovan specialties?
I don't know the name of it. There's been like a
Okay.
pie with meat. And
Pie with meat. Okay.
Maybe you know the name of that.
It's like a pastry.
Pastry. Maybe placinta.
Yeah.
Also that with cheese, with vegetables,
cheese
and
one
with
is
cherry.
cheese sauce.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
The cheese one is
I've had
fantastic.
the pumpkin with the pumpkin was wonderful.
Oh,
The
yeah.
cheese is fantastic.
But did you get to try our Moldovan food?
I have not had the chance yet, but interested in trying out Divos. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. That's the plan.
What were the things, I guess, that impressed you the most coming here in Moldova? Maybe it was a place, maybe it was some cultural thing, maybe it was like the people who live here.
Me personally, I know we've spent a lot of time here in Chisinau. Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah.
Chisinau. I love all of the trees here. I know that like as we were coming closer and closer to the city, we're driving past and there's all these wonderful trees and it reminds me of home. So, having not been home for several years, I get to see the trees and it makes me happy.
What's your hometown?
It's in Texas.
What about you?
For me has been the people. Everywhere you go, you meet different people, but it was as if I've been here a long time, they made me feel very comfortable and very welcomed here so far. So that has been that overwhelming appreciation for what we do, what we have been doing, and just being there has been my greatest experience. Never forget that.
And now, what about your performances? You performed for the America Day, so I saw you had like an excellent performance. How was it? What was your impression about it? Did you enjoy
Oh,
our
absolutely. Yeah,
audience?
we definitely enjoyed it. We're very fortunate that it seems like no matter where we go in Moldova, every audience has almost like a personality to it, to the body of people who are out there enjoying our music. And so far, every performance we've given, we're met with smiles and handshakes, sometimes hugs. And before people are even asking us who we are and what our names are, they're saying welcome to Moldova and they're reading us remarks. So every audience has been an absolute joy to play to this time.
What are the next places you will perform at? What are cities?
Edenets.
Edinets.
Balti.
Bells.
Belts, and I can't think of the name of the last city.
Kosher.
Resnet, is it?
Resina?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Would somebody want to invite people to come to the event? Would like to invite people watching us online to the event?
Please come out and see us. Please come to America Days. Great opportunity, great information from the embassy, USAID, a lot of intergovernmental agencies that are there to give you information. So please come experience some of our culture as much as you guys have offered us your culture. We would love to do the same. So if you guys can come out, please do.
So if you find out if you are in a city in Belgrade or Resina, please go to the event and see them performing live. And now let's take some questions from the audience. Who'd like to ask our musicians who are here today? Would like to find out something about maybe their career, hobbies? Okay.
How has it been since your first tour around Europe? Like the first one that you got together for?
Oh man, I think my first tour was 2 years ago, and when the group that I was a part of at that time, 2 years ago, we went to Croatia, and we were there for about a week and a half, almost 2 weeks, and we kind of played all over Croatia. So it was a lot of fun, and that was my first experience. That was my first experience being in Europe, and then my first experience going on a tour like that with the United States Army and with the bands as well. Yeah.
And for how long have you been performing together?
9 months or so.
This iteration of Free Groove, yeah, about 9 months. About 9 months. Yeah.
And since you started, like the group, since it started, how has your music evolved throughout the years? Can you tell us about it?
When we first started the group, we actually didn't have this many personnel, this many people in the ensemble. When we first started the group, we had, I think, seven or eight. We've grown in this year to add more horns. There's way more horns. We have, not just one but two vocalists. We've kind of blended genres a little bit more. And it's been pretty cool. It's been cool. It's been a pretty cool ride because once we start adding in more people, the music starts to take on those personalities, those additional personalities that we have in the ensemble.
Can you tell us a little bit about the genre you're playing? Maybe some people in the audience don't know about the jazz genre, or maybe they are fans and they'd like to know more in details about what kind of jazz you're playing.
The kind of jazz that we're playing, it's a bit of a mix. So it's not your traditional jazz. There are elements of jazz within our music, but we're definitely playing some Beyonce. We're definitely playing some LMA. I see a lot of head shakes. I feel like definitely playing some LMA. But we're also doing some trombone shorty. We're also doing some Stevie Wonder, and I'm missing a whole lot of stuff. But we have a couple different styles in there. There's some brass, more brassy, more horn inspired stuff. But then there's also there's some elements of rock in there as well. They're in the show as well. So.
And how are you choosing the songs you want to play? Like, how are you deciding on these songs?
All these questions.
We try to pick songs that are energetic, that we hope the audience will like, because we love playing all kinds of music, but part of the reason we want to do this group specifically is because this group gets the opportunity to interact with the audience. If you come to our shows, you'll see that we like talking back and forth with the audience. We like engaging with the audience. We like dancing with the audience. So any songs we can get that sort of fit those ideas, those are the songs we want to consider for our program, because those are going to
Only joyful songs. Okay, let's take a question.
Hi guys, welcome to Moldova.
Thank you.
Really nice having you here. Sorry, I was late a little bit for the general entrance, but I accidentally found out that on Friday you have been performing on the theater now. Right? Great show, by the way. I wanted to ask you, as a connoisseur of jazz, like how long have you been performing in the States? Because I mean, some of the people who are present here, maybe, but at least me, are just dreaming to get to New Orleans and get to know like the real jazz, the real blues, like how it sounds and so on and so forth. So are you more like oriented towards transforming the pop music into jazz style? This is the first question. Second, do you know anything about the local guys who are into folk jazz? Because, by the way, today is the birthday of one of the guys who's been performing here for, I don't know how many years, at least 10 years. And he has founded what's it called? Yeah, there you go. And today is his birthday, and I know that in the upcoming days they will be organizing a show, and maybe you guys will be joining there, so you could just see how it's going on in here.
So to answer your first question, that's a great question, by the way. Taking those songs and then do we transform them? So we all have different backgrounds, and that's one of the best parts about the Army and the music that is within the Army is we all have these different backgrounds that we all come from. And I come from mostly a jazz background myself. I've been to Bourbon Street. I've been to the Village Vanguard of New York, been to Chicago, and kind of branched out across those different things. So that was kind of my upbringing, and those are fantastic places to get to. So if you have the opportunity to get to New York and check out the Village Vanguard, that to me is like my number one. So, but as far as like taking those tunes, another wonderful thing about the Army bands in the United States is we have the joy and the responsibility of taking American music and sharing it with the world. And American music is a very wide term. It's really almost impossible to quantify everything under American music that there is out there. And so what we do is a lot of the times we will take music that was created sometimes by American artists or even other artists, and we will just do it as much justice as we can. Sometimes we take elements of another song and play a completely different song in that first song style. We like to mix and match because what we end up coming up with is something almost completely original to Free Groove, right, to our ensemble. Even though it's not truly original, we've made it really kind of our own. And there's a lot of passion, a lot of drive that goes into music that you've created together as that ensemble. So that's kind of where we approach a lot of our music creation from is we're really just trying to do as much justice as we can to that big term, American music. As for your other question, we haven't heard of that yet, but happy birthday to that individual. That's fantastic. I know for me, when I was in the United States and I had the opportunity to travel a lot and play a lot of different jazz music, one of my priorities was getting into the bars and clubs and jazz hangs, right? Speakeasies even, to be able to go and listen to the locals, right? And be able to listen to that scene because New York jazz sounds different from New Orleans jazz, sounds different from California jazz. And those individuals, similar to the individuals that you have here who have their own sound, there's an entire personality behind that. So I'd be interested to find out where the next concert is.
All right.
Yeah, thank you. Great question. Yeah,
Thank you
great
very
question.
much for your questions. Maybe somebody else. Yeah.
What were your journeys as separate musicians coming into this band together? What led you here?
Yeah, those are so. I think to start with, so we've all been in the Army bands different amounts of time. So we have, I think I've been in the longest, 22, and we have Sergeant Erica Reed here, who is actually a truck driver by trade, but an amazing vocalist, who we've sought that talent out and been able to bring that to our ensemble. So I think I'll preface that with we have a wealth of experience in degrees, college educators, music education, music composition, and we've taken that, and then I think what we've learned from the Army and the Army bands system and brought that to this group. If somebody wants to elaborate on that, but at least that's our foundation. So
Yeah, some of us, you know, we had to go to university to learn how to play music very well. Some of our members didn't need to go to university. They were doing music very well on their own, and so they've been touring and playing for a long time with professional musicians that aren't just in the Army, that are the names you've heard. So, but yeah, wide diverse experiences.
Do we have some other questions?
What made you get into music, into like singing or playing an instrument?
I was told to. So both my parents are musicians. They're both band directors, and so it was, you're gonna play the drums. Yeah. So it was very much, you're gonna do that. No, I kid a little bit, but I was very fortunate to have two musician parents who were, as soon as I fell in love with music, it was kind of a no-brainer. It's like, okay, well, you know, you're gonna play whatever you want, and so just kind of blossomed from there.
What about other musicians?
Me as a vocalist, I would say from young, my mother, she sings, and she always, you know, encouraged me whenever she was singing. And I can say I fully adapted that love and appreciation for music, any type of music across the board, when I was like about 5. So anything that I can hear and I can sing back, I would just sing. And yeah, I would love it.
I grew up in church as a kid, and so you know, gospel music was really big in my community and in my household, and so I picked up playing different instruments here and there. But truthfully, what really led me down the path of music was I was playing, I was playing trombone, but I was also playing American football at the same time. I was doing both. Football season ended, right? And my coaches were like, "Hey, track season started, so if you're in football, you got to run track." And I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna be a musician from now on. I don't want to run track. So from there, I just kept playing music, and I left football behind. But yeah, it's been a journey.
I started really similar. My family went to church all the time, and so I was always singing in the children's choirs. And then as I got older, I got to sing in the adult choir. And my uncle was actually a band director, and he was the one who taught me how to play saxophone. He got me started on it, and I was in choir beforehand. But when he taught me how to play saxophone, I immediately joined the band program, and it was so cool because you were cool playing instruments, and get to go on all these trips and to play for all these different people. So I got started that way, and I enjoyed it so much that I just wanted to follow that path the rest of my life. I wanted to be a music educator. But yeah, it's just been so ingrained in my family that it was ingrained in me. I can't imagine not doing anything. I was singing in a choir, church choir, playing with this group. It's been a wonderful thing.
Let's go one by one.
So with me, really, I saw a piano in a little department store. I was 4, and I asked my mom to buy this little tiny piano. Little small jokes, and so I started plunking on that. I played trombone for years. I just thought it was really interesting because it was different. And then I actually switched over to bass in 2008, 2009. I just loved it. I love music. I love what it can do. I love that you can make what you want. I love that you can take so many influences from countless cultures to make music, and that just excites me, motivates me.
Okay, thanks so much. Do we have any other questions in the audience? Maybe in the online audience, maybe my colleagues can help me. And no, we don't have questions. Okay, well, I have a question for our audience, and I'll give you a little gift at the end if you guess it. So somebody already mentioned the answer, but I'll still try to see if you know it. What is the state and the city where jazz originated? Who knows? Okay, give it a try.
Okay, so you wanna go? Okay, so it's New Orleans, isn't it?
Yeah,
Hold on.
and the state.
The state, hold on, New Orleans is, okay, Geo isn't my forte.
Well, you cannot share the prize, unfortunately.
I know the city.
We'll get
but-
to it.
But I guess if you know the answer, did you know the city?
I know it's New Orleans, but what's this?
the city, but.
Actually, yeah.
State looks like a fruit.
It's not in the country.
Very
louder.
You're right?
Yeah,
No.
Louisiana?
Yeah, right. Okay, well, you okay, next. What decade is considered the jazz age? What decade in the US?
70s, wasn't it 70s?
No.
60s.
A lot of good jazz in the 70s.
No,
though.
okay,
A lot of good
maybe.
jazz.
Think for a little bit, okay? Maybe you read some books. Read that, maybe.
20s.
Okay, well, it's your first shot. Unfortunately, I cannot give you a time for you. But yeah, it's 1920s. Who can name at least two jazz musicians? American. Okay.
There's 6 of them.
So if you
Remember our names.
yeah, right. Remember your names, it counts. So who can at least two?
Maybe Frank Sinatra
Wasn't he wasn't.
and Ray Charles, isn't?
Yeah, we'll take that. We'll take it. Yeah,
Take
two
those.
jazz.
Yeah, okay, you'll receive a gift, Vivian.
Louis Armstrong and Aretha Franklin.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, we'll stop here with this
And
question.
Simone.
Okay, let's see, who is the father of jazz? The father of
I don't know
jazz.
this one.
No way.
Raise your hand if you want to.
I'm a member of the team.
Armstrong, and his name? His surname?
Ray Armstrong?
No.
Louis.
Okay, your prize is yours. It's Armstrong. Okay, and who is the king of jazz?
Hold up, was Elvis jazz based? Because I don't think so. He
No.
was talking.
Well,
Okay. Is it Frank?
No.
Frank Sinatra? I mean,
No. Well, it's Paul Whitman. So nobody, maybe our musicians do recognize him. Do you think of him as the king of jazz or no?
Oh man, you guys are jazz experts.
jazz doesn't have a king, but it has a duke.
Let's see who's the world's best-selling jazz musician.
Oh man. Who said the
The
1960s?
best-selling one.
Big in the 60s.
oh,
He had his own quartet.
No.
it wasn't.
Oh, no. It's a hard one. Maybe I'll let
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it's a hard
What?
That's actually very tough.
Yeah.
Do you guys know the answer?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Miles Davis.
But
Would you?
I can't get it. Okay, one last question. Who can explain us what is a big four? Who can explain us what does it mean in jazz? The big four. Can our amazing musicians explain us? It's more complicated. Yeah.
I think it's different. I think that means multiple things.
But at the beginning of jazz, when it was first like invented,
In relation to chords, time,
Yeah,
chords?
yeah. Well, internet says that it's the emphasis on the fourth beat of which you have in traditional jazz. So it's based on traditional jazz. I know it's evaluated a lot. So do we have maybe other questions in the audience? Maybe you.
Вот свърбиска нормално ще няма
Okay, I will translate. Okay.
Aflu dacă cunosc ceva din muzica moldovenească, poate au avut ocazia să asculte acum.
Oh, jazz.
Yeah. She asked if you get to listen to Moldovan music and if you liked something or if you know something about Moldovan music.
De
Genre or
trupă sau
style.
vreo.
Maybe you know a band, a singer.
Generally speaking.
Generally speaking.
We did ask a student at the conservatory earlier today to tell us, like, you know, Moldovan musicians we should listen to. But
He said we should build it.
yeah.
Okay, hold on. Sorry, can I interfere? So, how do we just send you the amazing list of the things that you can listen about the Moldovan music, including the folk jazz?
Yeah, our photographer back here.
He's got our social media
Yeah.
handles, so you
you're
can
the
go
guy.
ahead.
He's the guy.
Now, we haven't had an opportunity to listen to a lot of Moldovan musicians, right, since we've been here, but like I was saying earlier about going out into the scene of those different cities, right, when you're a jazz musician, it's the same thing when we're here. We're very interested in going and finding those opportunities to go listen to those things. As this group has gone to other countries like Romania and Bulgaria, sometimes at night we get the opportunity to go out and get to a club or a speakeasy or something underground and go listen to live musicians from those countries and those regions. And no matter what, every single time, it sounds like nothing we've ever heard before, but we love it. So there's a lot of personality there. Let's check it out.
Do we have any other questions? Yeah.
What's everyone's favorite singer?
I truly always love listening to Ella Fitzgerald. I can never get enough of her. Her voice is absolutely gorgeous. I can listen to it all the time.
Take notes.
My favorite singer, believe it or not, is Fantasia Barrino. Fantasia sings the timbre of her voice. There's nothing that she cannot really sing. I love the range of her voice, everything, everything. So my favorite is her.
There's a Southern gospel quintet that I've been listening to a lot lately, but I'm embarrassed because I don't actually know this man's name, but the lead singer for that quartet, I keep listening to their album over and over. The group is called Acapella. I really like their sound.
Vocalist I'm listening to right now is he's a trumpet player and a vocalist. His name is Benny Benak, and he's out of New York. He's a young guy in his 20s, and he's just fantastic. He's got a very like old school kind of Frank Sinatra kind of sound, but he's a young guy, and he absolutely slays. He sounds awesome. So.
Favorite singer?
I like, I don't know my favorite. I really love his voice, but I'm gonna go with Ed Sheeran.
No, I'm kidding. Truth be told, I am a sucker for live recordings. I love live recordings of popular artists. It's a gritty and just an imperfect nature to the show. That's great. But I love Otis Redding. There's a recording. There's Otis Redding live at the Whiskey A Go Go, and it is literally. You can hear people drinking. You can hear people, clanking glass together. Like you can hear the atmosphere. That's one of my favorite albums. And his voice is just raw. It's just natural. And that's definitely something. I still listen to that now, just everything. So.
Thank you very much for sharing. Do we have any other questions? Okay.
Vă întreb dacă au avut posibilitatea să viziteze muzee sau niște locuri frumoase în Moldova, de exemplu, vechi.
Have you had the possibility to visit some landmarks here in Moldova or here in Beck or other places?
Not a whole lot. So we haven't had a lot of time. Every single day we have something going on. But luckily I've seen this beautiful park outside. And you guys, the Triumphal Arch is there across the street, and it's gorgeous. I'm just impressed how beautiful it is.
Okay, so you like our Central Park?
Yeah. Yeah.
Great.
I like the fact that there's, and coming from America, where you have this beautiful metropolis, Chisinau, but then literally like a mile, like pretty much still downtown, there's a giant lake. Like that to me is it's unheard of. Like I've never seen that's pretty cool. Like I was in my hotel and I just walked down the street and there's a lake, but it's like still right there, kind of downtown. It's still there. It's kind of cool.
Well, it's a small country, a small city. So what other maybe places you visited or?
I've only been to the lake. It's so beautiful. I keep going back. So yeah.
I haven't been anywhere yet, just around.
Do you plan to visit something before
Yeah.
you leave?
You'd like to,
If our schedule, yeah.
Yeah, you will also be touring throughout different cities here in Moldova, so you'll be able to see more of our country. Some other questions maybe? If not, I think we will end the live stream. And my colleagues will. Thank you very much for joining us online. Our on-site audience will now have a chance to speak directly with the musicians, maybe discuss with them one-on-one. So thank you everyone, have a great evening. And let's give a round of applause. You are here, feel free to approach one of the musicians and ask their questions. If you, we'll have
We'll be
social time.